Wait, how did you do that?
Hejka, ohayo gozaimasu. Ja jestem Prorok i witam was w kolejnym trzecim odcinku ze Stanley Probel. I w drugim odcinku z tej serii niby zakończyliśmy grę, mówiliśmy napisy końcowe, ale jeszcze niby coś tam mogę ograć, więc zaczym sobie jeszcze parę rzeczy tutaj, coś może jeszcze odkryjemy. A więc jeszcze z 1-2 odcinki z tej serii będziemy ją chyba kończyć, to będzie bardzo króciutka seria na kanale. Dobra, lecimy. Bo tak, w dużym skrócie, odkryliśmy ten niby ending, mieliśmy ending, ale jeszcze chcę zacząć sobie inne drogi w tej grze, jakie prowadzą i co. Zeszliśmy sobie na dół, musieliśmy do busa, sobie poszliśmy na dół i o. Szliśmy i teraz nagle nie bierze Stanley się wystarczył i o, na to.
And everything went black.
Okej. Okej.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okej. Co to miało być? Kolejne zakończenie? I znowu tu jestem.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okej, jeszcze raz pójdziemy, zobaczymy. Co mi tam?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I tędy.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Dobra, tędy.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
Dalej,
of disbelief,
lecimy dalej, a nie gadasz.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming
Do
to
biura
the
szefa,
staircase,
okej.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Tam nie mogę. Patrzcie,
Stepping
to
into
by
his
się różni
manager's
już.
office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Ale tam
But
6.
of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever
Wiem, jaki jest
result
kod, ale
in a correct
trudno.
combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead.
Dobra, jeszcze cię posłucham.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
I co
code
teraz?
by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Gdzie? Tutaj? I co dalej? O co tutaj chodzi? O co teraz może chodzić, kurde?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Dobra, idziemy. Robi się ciekawie.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Trudno. Czekajcie. Walić tam. Nie wierzę ci.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nie.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Jaką śmiercią? Przecież tu nie ma nic groźnego. Jolo? I co? Co dalej? Jaka śmierć? Żyję! Ja ci dam śmierć.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Nie!
Stanley.
Nie! Serio?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Aha. Co jest? To jest jakiś true ending? The Stanley
And
Problem.
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Okej. Czyli to jeszcze nie
When
jest koniec?
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I co teraz? Okej. Nie wiem, co się dzieje. Okej. Nie wiem, gdzie ja jestem i o co tutaj chodzi, ale jest ciekawie. Okej. Gdzie ja do diabła jestem?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
I co?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
I co?
Listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Okej. Dobra. Czekajcie. Zapiszę dla bezpieczeństwa. Jest cisza, spokój. Wyjdziemy do menu. I co? Czekajcie, rozpocznij grę. Zacznij, co się stanie. Dobra. Jeszcze raz do menu. Wczytaj mi to. I co? Czarny ekran, patrzcie. Dobra. Nie wiem, co się dzieje. W ogóle nie wiem. Ej, co to jest za koniec? Czy co? Czekajcie, bo już nie rozumiem.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I...
Ale ty nie mogę narratora.
See you tonight.
Nie ma narratora, cicho jest. Co się dzieje? Bez kitu jest za cicho. Miałem narratora, zepsułem grę, czy co? Już nie wiem.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Dobra. To co, to tyle? O co chodzi? What the heck?
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Nie wiem
Feeling
już
a wave
szczerze.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Dobra,
to his
pójdziemy jeszcze raz
boss's
na górę.
office.
Okej. Jeszcze raz kod i... Nie wiem już, kurde, co
Stepping
mam
into
robić.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret
A, no to
that
tak jak
lay
mówiłem.
buried below his feet. And so the
Ja się
boss had
powtórzam.
assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing
Dobra.
random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
I
He
tędy.
stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okej, jeszcze raz klikamy to. I ostatni raz. Dobra, lecimy na szybkości.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Dobra.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Dobra, tędy.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Freedom is nothing. Co dalej? Czy naprawdę dasz mi wolność, narratorze?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
No.
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Co dalej mam zrobić? Patrzcie, byliśmy w tym miejscu. Okej, 5. Light controlling.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
Dobra, 2 minuty.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that
Czekaj, mam
timer
pomysł.
that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you.
Jak będzie klikanie.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley?
400.
That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing.
Dobra, trudno się mówi, zginę i tyle.
You being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment
Nie
I
wiem,
say,
co mam robić szczerze.
"We ever up."
Bye. I co? Aha. Znowu od nowa? Dobra. Widzimy się za moment, moi drodzy, jak już tam dotrę. Dobra, moi drodzy, widzimy się z powrotem po tej krótkiej przerwie i lecimy dalej, nie ma co. Tędy, psium, psium, fiu, fiu do środka. I co, mam kliknąć off, tak? Dobra, zacznę coś tam, jak klikniemy
When
to,
at
bo jestem
last
ciekaw
he
tego.
found the sword.
I co teraz? Jak to wyłączyłem? Widzę wyjście. Dobra, nic nie widzę.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
A?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Dobra, idziemy.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
A czy to jest prawdziwe życie? Czy tylko iluzja? To jest moje pytanie. Okej? Czyli... Tyle wystarczyło? Wystarczyło się słuchać na Ej! Serio? Dobra, wiecie co? To będzie chyba na tyle z tej serii ze Stanley Parable.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Okej, to jeszcze nie jest koniec.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okej. To nie jest... Tak jak... To by nie jest na zakończenie.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Dobra. I znowu w pułapce jesteśmy. W dupie, tędy idę. O, ty, coś tu jeszcze jest. Dobra, dawaj. Zobaczymy coś tam, jak pójdziemy tu, bo już naprawdę mam takie what the heck. Dajcie, coś tylko sprawdzę. Dobra, jeszcze chwilka. Dawaj. Co? Nie chcę tutaj. Dawaj. W dół. Dobra. Czekamy. I co? Dobra, zatrzymałem. I gdzie będę? Dalej tu. Dobra, wiecie co? Ostatnią rzecz sprawdzam i po prostu będziemy kończyć, więc to po prostu tą serię.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark press the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Aj. Jeszcze raz. Ja musiałem to po prostu klikać. I co? Coś tu jest? Tutaj chyba pustka. No ja już nie wiem, bo ta gra mnie naprawdę już i mindfucka robi. Dobra. Spauzuję tylko na chwilkę, coś muszę zacząć zaraz. Dobra, pauza na chwilkę. Dobra. Wracamy do gierki. No i co? Znowu
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this Stanley thought Stanley would meet his realized he simply had too much to live for.
I co, znowu tu? Bo już naprawdę mam mindfucka, co ja mam tu robić.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Dobra, i co? Jeżeli będzie znowu to samo, to po prostu pierdzielę chwilę ten. I sobie po prostu serię ze Stanleya zakończymy.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Dobra. Klik.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? that his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Jeszcze raz,
As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Poczekaj, coś muszę zacząć pierw. Tutaj. Tu jest piątka. W tamtej stronie jest 1, 2. Ok, zobaczę to z ciekawości. Kolorki oznaczają. Nie mam żadnego pojęcia, szczerze. 2. 3 jest tutaj. Okej, a mogę zawrócić? Nie mogę. 4 była tu. Jeśli to nie położę, to już nie wiem co robić. Dobra, 4, 5, a jak nie to po prostu klikniemy znowu, żeby wyłączyć i nie wiem. Jakby po prostu zakończymy tą serię i tyle. Bo chyba wszystkie już zakończenia wzięliśmy. A to? Tego nie mogę kliknąć. Dobra, klikamy. A już raz po prostu zakończymy tą serię, już i tyle. I co, znowu to samo? Znowu to samo?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Tak.
He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled
Wiecie co?
himself from someone else.
To będzie na tyle z tej serii. Dziękuję wam za oglądanie serii The Stanley Parable. I co, mi się wydaje, że prawdziwe zakończenie zrobiliśmy sobie w drugim odcinku i co? Zakończymy sobie tak oto tą króciutką serię. Dziękuję za oglądanie tej całej serii The Stanley Parable. Ja jestem Prorok, arigato i co, zaczynam w kolejnej serii na kanale, która się za niedługo pojawi. To co, bye bye, sayonara.